Multitude Talks again, joined by Michelle, Alex, Gareth and Leona. Today we're talking about anxiety in schools. Here we go. I found some interesting figures about anxiety, or stats about anxiety. Around 80% of teachers reported seeing a child or student with a mental health issue, and about 10% of children suffer with anxiety, and an estimated 3 million people in the UK suffer from anxiety. That is a lot. What do you guys think about this? What have you seen in schools?
I think there's no doubt about it, whether you're teaching year 7s, 11 and 12-year-olds, whether you're teaching a 17 or 18-year-old about to finish his A-levels.
Yeah.
Anxiety is a thing. There are so many exams that our students are doing, whether it's 11 plus, maybe 13 plus, GCSEs, A-levels.
Yeah.
And when you finish one set of exams, you've got to concentrate on the next set.
Yeah.
So there's so much exam testing that those figures don't surprise me one bit.
And I think it's starting a lot younger as well. Like, I work with a lot of primary school children, and anxiety amongst them is massive. Whether it be to do with stuff that's going on in the playground, whether it's to do with their homework, exams. I don't remember when I was doing 11 plus, like, it wasn't really a big thing. I literally have no memory of it at all.
Yeah.
But these guys, it's like it is a real stressor.
Like Gareth was saying as well, exams start at 4 plus now, don't they? Isn't there a 4 plus exam that you can do? Like, there's definitely a 7 and 8. I think there's a 4 now as well. So if you're testing kids from then all the way through to, well, you're studying of course now, aren't you? So it goes all the way through. You never stop the testing.
But we're used to seeing anxiety amongst older, like teenagers and everything, because of what they go through, both physically, emotionally.
Yeah.
They've also got their what used to be like the first big test, which was your GCSEs.
Yeah.
But I do find it shocking that it's starting so much younger.
Yeah.
And it's also a real worry from the parents, and that then gets pushed onto the children.
Do you reckon it could be that though? I mean, there's obviously it's multi-dimensional reasons as to why what causes it. But what about that? Like, both parents working, don't see their kids, they're anxious from work, that gets passed on. Don't even have to communicate that, it can just be sort of
non-verbal.
Yeah.
No, I do think it's that, and I think, we talked about it very briefly last time as well, this sort of idea of academic inflation where everything has to have this one-upmanship. You always have to be better at this, you have to be better at that from such a young age. And because everyone else is doing well, we've now got, your sort of like your A++ for GCSEs, which is now your 9, I think.
Level 9.
There's this constant push to be better. And the highest achievers is what it's focused on.
That's the way the system's set up though, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the alternative? Because I was quite interested actually. I went to the talk on Monday about anxiety in schools, and there's a psychiatrist there was, these ladies that set this app to deal with anxiety. It was quite interesting. But 2 questions from the audience were, the system's wrong. But for me anyway, what's the alternative? It's been the system for 200 years. I don't understand how the system would sort of change. How are we going to reduce stress by reducing exams? Then how do we
think you have to have exams.
Classify kids, where do they sit?
We are measured by exam results. It's a fact, and
I think you need it, because you have to have a form of, as you say, assessing people and monitoring progress. Yep. And although it's in an ideal way, there's always going to be a toss-up between money and time. And there isn't enough time in the year, and there aren't enough financial resources for children to be assessed on a more individualistic, holistic kind of set of dimensions. So it's much easier to do a test, and I think the main message that needs to be reinforced by parents, teachers, tutors, anyone who's in the wider circle is that just because you may not pass a test and you might fail, it doesn't need to destroy your dreams. It doesn't need to be the end all and be all. To be a doctor, to be a lawyer, it's all of those sort of traditional jobs that drive that sort of, we need to be tested, we need to have top scores, and this is the sort of standard conformity route to go through. And I think we need to be aware that there are all these other things, and actually it's just a sort of tick box exercise. And yes, it's important to be pushed out of your comfort zone and everything else, but also don't let it completely crush you.
Well, what's the alternative though? This is the problem, right? And obviously, Gareth knows this a lot as well, from UCAS, the references and things like that.
Yeah.
If you don't get the A-level grades, you don't get into uni. You don't do the course you want to do, then what do you do? I know I'm talking older, sort of students at this stage, right? I'm talking about primary initially, but what about that level? So you haven't done too well in GCSEs, the school won't let you sit certain A levels because they're going to mess up their results, that's basically why. You have to change course slightly. Yeah. You then don't get the A levels you want, and then you can't get onto the course you want to do. So surely the testing is causing anxiety. There's no way around that. Because
there is, but I also think
doors on
there has to be a common sense voice behind all of that. Which, if someone isn't performing up to those standards and they haven't got onto the course that they want to do, are they necessarily the best candidate for that kind of job role?
Yeah.
Possibly not. And actually, maybe that's also our job to awaken people that if it's really that much of a push, why don't you consider this alternative, which might actually set to your skills a little better?
I think that fortunately now, and increasingly so, there are vocational routes, BTEC qualifications. You can have BTEC level 3 qualifications, which are the same level as A level. There's apprenticeships. I think we've all seen over the last 15, 20, maybe 25 years, probably no more than that. University is where everyone's supposed to go, apparently. You're supposed to do GCSEs, A levels, and go to university. Even if you're not quite sure what you really want to do, everyone else is going to university, so why am I not?
Why not?
But I think now people are realising that maybe it's not the route.
I think that's also highlighted by the fees for the university is now. It's much more of a financial commitment than what it used to be. So it's like, okay, well, what's another $3 grand?
It's putting off, is it? On the same
I think it should.
I
think it should.
No, I think it should. You could spend that on, going to Maldives. Something else, I don't know what. But that sort of money is mad, and that's before you've done anything.
I think numbers are pretty broadly the same. I think they're similar. Got all the stress and anxiety about doing exams in order to go to university, in order to
have $30 grand worth of debt.
At least.
30,000
in fees, let alone living costs for 3 years, maybe 4 years.
So now,
losing.
That's probably. But now you're not getting anxiety about exams. You're getting it about financial issues. So it's just switched. So
absolutely.
What is causing anxiety?
I mean, it's true. Lots of kids will sit for common entrance for some schools, and then like some of their other ones, they'll do individual papers. It's true.
Which that makes
and those are notoriously hard
no sense
as well. Like the Latimer paper is like one of them. Like, oh my god, I've got a Latimer paper.
So how do you even prepare for that?
Well, just gotta keep doing them. The problem is they don't have a lot of mark schemes out there.
That's what I mean. How do you get to see papers that existed if they're not ICB?
You can get papers, and you can write to ICB as like a parent or someone else and get a whole load of papers and question.
You can get 11 plus and 13 plus papers.
Which
are helpful,
but
not
specific. So one kid, 10-year-old, has got to then do. How many exams have they got to do?
Depends how many exams that schools are applying for.
Let's say they typically pay for 5.
5,
Let's say 5. So 3 of them might take the standard common entrance paper. Except that's their measure. But
which is the ICB, independent schools exam.
Or maybe 2 or 3, and then the remaining 2 or 3 will have their own paper, like Latimer, for example.
And they're sat roughly at the same time each year, but I guess you're doing going to all these different schools. Doing
11 plus is January. 13 plus.
It's like May. June, isn't it?
I don't know about 13 plus.
Crikey, it's a bit later.
No, it's May, June.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got additional things, haven't we, for 13 plus. But just going back to 11 plus, so a 10-year-old would have to be taken, I guess. Mum or dad would be out of school for the day, going to these other schools, doing these tests.
The standard paper though, the common entrance paper is almost certainly done in school.
Because
all the kids, are doing it for a number, maybe all of them.
But remember, this is also only for independent schools. Otherwise, you've got to do SATs. Your 11 plus SATs, haven't you?
Yeah. But it doesn't really matter where you're going or what you're doing. It's pretty stressful, isn't it?
If you're 10.
That's pretty stressful for a 10-year-old though.
Yeah.
I could not do that. If you said to me, right, you're gonna, don't know, give my mum for a week,
when you're a kid, you want to be going off and playing in the park. You want to be having play dates. You want to be playing netball. You want to be doing it off school clubs. There is so little time to do a club homework and then do any kind of tutoring or preparation or anything else that there is for the 11 plus.
But that's what really, really annoys me about these schools. Headmasters keep coming out saying, oh, tutoring, oh, it's very bad, we don't know, all this like absolute nonsense, when actually it's their schools that's driving the pressure, which is driving the anxiety, which is driving the fear, which is driving the need for additional support. I think 9 times out of 10, tutoring isn't actually about content. That's what these guys were whinging about. They're teaching the wrong thing. And I'm sure that happens. But I used to work in a school, so I know teachers teach the wrong thing. So it doesn't work like that. I think actually the tutoring is where the confidence comes in.
I totally agree.
The biggest thing is that suddenly you've got someone who's going to come in and help you on a one-to-one basis. They're your mentor, they're your friend, and they're your tutor, getting you to that level, which you never have in schools.
Schools don't want to admit that they're not doing a sufficient job and need outside sourcing, basically. So it's a bit of a pride kick.
Yeah, definitely.
To be like, oh, Fred's getting tutored on the side.
Yeah.
It's such a taboo.
I think actually schools are a big driver for anxiety. I don't think that they alleviate it at all.
No.
And also competition at that age. I think competition should be like throwing balls to each other and like playing sport, or doing something but you're still doing it as a team. There's a nice social sort of support interaction.
Not trying to beat someone in a biology test.
We're in a class of 20 of us, right? I've got to beat you, otherwise you'll get my school place.
Yeah.
I think that's a very valid point though, because all of this, everyone keeps banging on about the stats, it's got to be, we've got to get X amount of people through all of these hoops.
Yeah.
And actually, yes, it's quite a lonely place when you get pushed through all of these tests and everything else, but actually you have to be better than a boffin. You have to be more holistic in that, because Oxford don't want you if you're just a geek. They want you to have social skills. They want you to have skills that are going to go get you jobs later on. Because that's the world that we live in.
Yeah, that's the issue. And I think actually one thing I would say about the tutoring, you have got to be careful, you've got to know who you're getting, is that they will then drive kids down like a path, whatever that person is like, their personality is like, which obviously these schools are looking for. They drive them down a path which you've got. That's like pretty obvious that it starts super young. I think that's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
Like this sort of testing is crazy at this level.
It's a lot.
But going back to what we said in the past, what is the alternative? These schools driving competition. What's the alternative? Like how it's not going to just suddenly stop.
We just don't have the time and the resources to not put them through it. But I think what needs to happen is that the message about the pressure and everything else is that this isn't your end all and be all. I think that's what it needs to come down to, and obviously schools want to push it so that they're better off in the league tables, that they got X amount through to this school, X amount through to that school. But I think from more of like a pastoral level, it needs to be a little bit more grounded that it doesn't matter.
Thanks very much for joining us again, guys. Thanks to Gareth and thanks to Leona. We'll see you next time.